Welcome to another episode of Field Notes, insights and observations for the travel marketer. My name is Eric Hultgren, and we are 1 week in, so let's talk ChatGPT 5. A week ago, the most anticipated model in the world of AI dropped, at least for now. GPT-5 arrived from OpenAI, and it was divisive and surprising to the folks at OpenAI, and specifically Sam Altman. And so what we thought we'd do today is give you a primer on what's happened in the last week, how GPT-5 is better and in what ways it might not be better, and how, as a travel marketer, you should use it. Before we start, a couple of things. I have created a list of prompts on our website, advancedtravelandtourism.com, that if you are new to AI or new to GPT-5, these prompts will accelerate that dexterity that we talk about a lot right now. So you can go to the website or you can go to the show notes and you can get that list and start dumping them into your model of choice. And quite honestly, test it against Perplexity or Claude or GPT-5 and see which one of them answers it best. But those prompts are waiting for you right now. What we're going to do today, speaking of dexterity, is we're going to put our money where our mouth is. We talk about that dexterity a lot, so I thought instead of me going bullet point list of pros and cons of GPT-5 versus GPT-4, I thought I would use an AI model to do that for you. So I've collected 15 of the stories and articles that I thought summarize best what GPT-5 does, what the issues are, and what's happened in the last week, and then also gathered my notes on what I've been using GPT-5 for. I took all of that and I put it into Notebook LM. What's about to happen is if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, you're going to get a video explainer version of Notebook LM explaining to you why you should use and what you should do in GPT-5. If you are listening to this wherever you get your podcast, you're going to get a podcast from 2 AI hosts explaining to you about GPT-5. Sounds fun, right? Let's see. All right, ready?
All right, let's talk about the launch of GPT-5. Now, this isn't just some regular software update, you know? This is a huge deal. And it actually tells us as much about ourselves as it does about the future of AI. Okay, so let's dive right in. Because the story of GPT-5, it doesn't really start with code or new features. It starts with a surprisingly emotional, really human reaction. When OpenAI rolled this thing out, the biggest news wasn't a cool new capability, it was this widespread feeling of loss. I mean, check out this quote from a user on Reddit. It was everywhere. When GPT-5 came in and replaced the older model, GPT-4o, some people felt a genuine sense of grief. And yeah, it sounds a little dramatic, but it points to something really important. People were forming incredibly deep connections with this AI. So what was the big problem? Well, it all came down to a perceived personality shift. People had gotten used to what they called the warmth of GPT-4o. And then, suddenly, GPT-5 felt colder, more robotic, less intuitive. It was kind of like your favorite super helpful coworker got replaced overnight by a strictly business consultant who just didn't get you. And get this reaction totally caught OpenAI off guard. Nick Turley, the head of ChatGPT, he basically admitted they had no idea just how strong these bonds had become. It's like they were so focused on all the technical improvements, they completely missed the emotional side of it all. And we're not talking about a handful of people on a forum. With a mind-blowing 700 million weekly users, this feedback was a tidal wave they just couldn't ignore. The backlash got so intense, they actually had to bring back the old model for paying subscribers. So, after all that unexpected human drama, what was actually going on under the hood? What was the big technical change that caused all this feeling? Well, it turns out the key innovation was the very thing that created that weird personality shift. It all comes down to something called a real-time router. See, before this, you might have had to choose between a faster, kind of simple AI model and a really powerful but slower one. The whole goal here was to get rid of that friction, to have a smart system that makes that choice for you, instantly. Here's basically how it works, and it's pretty clever. First, you ask a question. In a split second, the router analyzes how complex it is. Then, it sends your query to the right tool for the job. Either the quick, mini model for simple stuff, or the powerhouse full version for the heavy lifting. The end result is supposed to be a better answer, delivered faster without you ever having to think about it. Okay, so we have this new smarter routing system, but what can GPT-5 actually do? Let's take a look at how it changes things, both for you and me and for big businesses. For individuals, the impact is pretty immediate and really practical. Let's just take something we all do, or at least dream of doing, planning a trip. Because it's so much better at reasoning now, you can just throw a super complex, multi-layered request at it like this one. You can ask for a 3-day family trip to Kyoto, but also specify you want budget-friendly meals, key cultural sites, and activities for the kids. GPT-5 can actually juggle all of those constraints at once and produce a real personalized itinerary that actually works. But it's not just about logistics. The model's creative writing has taken a huge leap forward. It's got a much better feel for nuance and, reading between the lines. For example, one user asked it to write a short scene about that feeling you get when you realize you forgot your phone charger, but without using the word anger. And the result is this tense, totally relatable little story. It perfectly captures that quiet panic and frustration. It shows the emotion instead of just telling you about it. That's a big deal. So as cool as that personal stuff is, the biggest revolution is happening in the business world, specifically in software development. This is where GPT-5 is an absolute game changer. Inside tools like GitHub Copilot, developers are doing some incredible things. They can start by just asking GPT-5 for the basic requirements of a game. Once the AI spits out a plan, the developer can literally just type, "build this," and in less than a minute, a functional prototype just appears, ready to be tweaked and improved using simple conversational commands. And this isn't just a cool party trick. Since GPT-5 launched, the amount of complex reasoning and planning tasks being done by big companies on OpenAI's platform has just exploded. We're talking an 8-fold increase. Businesses are adopting this at a breathtaking speed. So this massive adoption in the business world, it signals a really fundamental shift. We're moving way beyond thinking of AI as just a simple tool or a passive assistant. And you can see this playing out in the data. According to a recent survey, the percentage of businesses with AI agents fully deployed, and that means they're not just testing them anymore, they're integrated into daily work, that number tripled in a single quarter. It jumped from 11% to 33%. That is an insane rate of adoption. What this all signals is a historic transition. We are moving past AI assistants that simply help with tasks, and we're entering an era of autonomous AI agents. A better way to think of them is as digital coworkers. They're managing entire projects right alongside us. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. As these incredibly capable AI agents become our new colleagues, taking on more and more complex work, our own roles are going to change. So the question isn't just what the AI can do anymore, it's what will it take for us to be good human teammates in this new world of work? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.
That went better than expected. Now, if you have any questions, as always, you can reach out to us. Happy to talk to you all day long, quite honestly, about how AI is changing our landscape. And as a reminder, that blog post is up right now, advancedtravelandtourism.com, that you can get those prompts for GPT-5 and jump in and start playing around in the space. My friends, it's been an absolute blast. Till next time, cheers.